It's time to shift focus over to Jammu and Kashmir. 5 years since the abrogation of Article 370, which removed the special status for Jammu and Kashmir, the Election Commission today has announced the dates for the Assembly elections. And the elections will be held in 3 phases. First phase will take place on 18th of September, second on 25th of September, and third on 1st of October. Counting of the votes shall take place on 4th of October. The last Assembly election in the erstwhile state was back in the year 2014, which is what makes this decision extremely significant. The Election Commission has hailed the historic turnout in the Lok Sabha polls in Jammu and Kashmir and has also said that given the new security situation with a crackdown on terror and separatism, the time is ripe for elections. In fact, for the first time in Jammu and Kashmir, the elections will have 9 reserved seats for scheduled tribes. All political parties are in a huddle to frame their game plans. The centre has been accused by several rights groups of curtailing democratic processes in Jammu and Kashmir since its semi-autonomous status ended back in the year 2019. And so allowing people to choose their representative will be a major step towards ensuring the restoration and the building up of political processes. Also, will holding assembly elections be a statement of confidence by the centre? Remember, recurrent militant attacks in Jammu and Kashmir, the recent spike being in Jammu, point to the fact that a lot of work is still required to attain complete peace in Jammu and Kashmir.
अच्छा है, बहुत ही अच्छा है समय अब पता लगेगा कौन तैयार था कौन तैयार नहीं था।
पहले से ही इस दिन की तैयारी में लगे हुए थे। हम अपना इलेक्शन का सिलसिला जो है वो शुरू कर लेंगे।
इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने हम उनका धन्यवाद करते हैं। वो देश से इंतजार था कि यहाँ चुनाव होंगे।
हम भारतीय चुनाव आयोग के फैसले का स्वागत करते हैं।
On that note, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. Mr. Siddharth Yadav, who is the spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, continues to stay with us. Mr. Muzaffar Iqbal Khan, who is a former judge and senior leader with the NC. Arshpreet Khadyal, who is a spokesperson for the Congress Party. And Mr. S.P. Vaid, who is a former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining in on CNN News 18. Mr. Iqbal Khan, if I could bring you in. Many are wondering how the Valley parties, also the Congress party, would like to build their plank on this election. Will it be on, in fact, the abrogation of Article 370?
Definitely, Aniksha, will be one of the main focus of these political parties. Local political parties would be abrogation of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, then stripping off the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir of their right to employment, stripping off the people of Jammu and Kashmir, their security, our lands, unemployment and terrorism to those areas which were hitherto free from terrorist activities for last more than a decade. And I hope former DGP Vaid Sahab is sitting, he will bail me out, that all these areas which have now been affected by the terrorism, they were terrorist-free areas, declared terrorist-free area. And I feel no hesitation in saying that we were feeling free for last many decades now. And after these the spike in the terrorist activities in Jammu region, particularly those peaceful regions, it has aroused the apprehension of the people. Fear psychosis is also there. apart from that, there are many other issues, burning issues, which concerns the every citizen of Jammu and Kashmir.
That is
More
why, Muzaffar
particularly,
Iqbal Khan, it's important to get the facts right on record and perhaps have the priorities in place. Abrogation of Article 370, an issue which has already been discussed, done and dusted. The Supreme Court has upheld the decision. So why waste energy over an issue which doesn't even hold any water? But Ashpreet Kadyal, should this election be about abrogation of Article 370 or democracy to prevail in Jammu and Kashmir?
Well, that would be decided by the people of Jammu and Kashmir. One thing that's for sure is that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are very, very happy that the time has finally come when they'll be able to give a befitting reply to the Bharatiya Janata Party for the following reasons: for rendering Jammu and Kashmir government and governance-less, for not restoring the statehood, for not ensuring employment there despite their hollow promises, for the back-to-back terror incidents that have been taking place, for the Bharatiya Janata Party's government and Mr. Amit Shah categorically said after the abrogation of 370, terrorism would end in Jammu and Kashmir. The opposite of that happened. And the most important of all, Mr. Modi in 5 years, post the abrogation of Article 370, went to Jammu and Kashmir for how many times? Just one. Now, we do understand that Mr. Modi's time and Mr. Modi's life is very valuable, but so is the lives of all those people in Jammu and Kashmir that are suffering because of the Bharatiya Janata Party's misgovernance, ignorance, and negating the lives of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. I'll give an example. An exodus happened of Kashmiri Pandits in 2022. Hundreds of them had to flee because of the obnoxious circumstances prevailing in Jammu and Kashmir. Number two, 5,000 people had accepted job offers in Kashmir through various government schemes. And out of 5,000, 70% had to flee Jammu and Kashmir because of the circumstances that are prevailing there. And not just that, I'd ask the Bharatiya Janata Party, how are the people supposed to trust you when you had leaders like Dhruv Saxena in 2017, who was a BJP office bearer, who was found to have links with the ISI? How can we trust the Bharatiya Janata Party when they fielded a candidate, gave a ticket to a BJP candidate in 2014, Tariq Ahmed Mir? What happened in 2020 was he was arrested by the NIA and he was arrested for procuring weapons for Hizbul Mujahideen's commander. And the Bharatiya Janata Party's government expects people to trust them for this. I mean, for once, the Bharatiya Janata Party's government should come forward and admit and take responsibility for what Mr. Satyapal Malik, former governor, said.
Ashpreet, let's not hurl stones when our own houses are made of glass, and that's exactly the case over here, because Lal Singh is also your own candidate who supported the Kathua rapist and from Jammu. So,
I'm hurling facts, not stones.
Mr.
And we all remember Kuldeep Singh.
Mr. Yadav,
you all remember Kuldeep Singh there.
Mr. Yadav, if I could bring you in on everything that Ashpreet has said, there are security concerns as far as Jammu is concerned, but Prime Minister has made it amply clear, and something for everyone to see. We couldn't have expected G20 to have delegates from all over the world coming to Kashmir. We've seen a Formula 4 event take place at Dal Lake more often. So clearly North Kashmir is no more a restive region. Also because the paramilitary focus of the forces has been North Kashmir, and perhaps that is one reason why Jammu is bearing the brunt of that spike in militancy. Siddharth.
Akansha, absolutely. First of all, the discussion was happening, is the election going to be on the abrogation of Article 370? I think the election is happening because of the abrogation of Article 370. Finally, the pit that was dug by in 70 years by Congress Party and Hurriyat and the National Conference, in 5 years we are seeing a normalcy come back to power, and this is not the first election that is happening. The steps that have been taken, we saw the local elections happen, we saw massive participation, you saw a few places with 60, 70, 80% of voter turnout in the Lok Sabha elections that happened. The lines that were there even in Valley to come and cast their vote in Lok Sabha elections show very promising results of what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir. The people of Jammu and Kashmir are answering the bullet with the ballot. Now, Ashpreet here has to, is asking the question, why should people trust the BJP? When it comes down to trust, the Congress party, which has have had relations with the Hurriyat, which have had red carpets being laid down for Hurriyat leaders and having a cup of tea with leaders like the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, should not be speaking about trust. What is happening in Jammu Kashmir, what has happened in the 5 years, the special packages that have been given, the new opportunities that have happened, new colleges, educational institutes that have been set up, new jobs that have come there, are the new ray of hope for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Finally, things are coming back to normalcy. The people who used to say that तिरंगा उठाने वाला कोई नहीं मिलेगा जम्मू और कश्मीर में, आज लाल चौक पे तिरंगा फहराया जा रहा है. It makes us, all of us, proud. And I'm very sure these elections are going to be a testament of how progress can happen in 5 years. The people of Jammu and Kashmir are going to answer with their ballot. They are going to answer to all divisive strategies of the National Conference and Congress Party, and they stand strong with the Indian Constitution, with the state of India. The STs, the SCs, the OBCs, everybody have reclaimed their rights. They are going to get their rights.
I'm running short of time, and I'd like to, in fact, end with Mr. Vaid's thoughts. Mr. Vaid, the big prime concern right now is, will parties be giving tickets to secessionists? Because remember, Engineer Rashid's victory is also a living testimony of how secessionism is not really done away with when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir. How do we now deal with the fact that secessionism is back in the valley, something perhaps that New Delhi itself acknowledged when they joined hands with PDP?
Thank you, Akanksha. See, political parties will they will select candidates on the basis of winnability, how a candidate is. I don't think most of the mainstream parties in Kashmir will deny tickets to people who they think they can get a seat for them, whether it is PDP or other parties. And Engineer Rashid, you saw how the polling happened in North Kashmir, and how he was elected. So I think
also, can we make the election plan subservient to the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir? I know that the government will have to walk the extra mile to ensure that these elections are safe and secure, free and fair, but can we be held at ransom by the spike in militancy? Going by the latest voter turnout in the recently concluded Lok Sabha election.
See, Akanksha, there is no doubt that the kind of turnout which we saw in the parliament election, that has actually rattled Pakistan. It was roughly 60%, like any other normal state of the rest of the country. And, the oxygen of terrorism is a fear factor. And it was witnessed in Kashmir Valley, the way there were long queues of the old ladies and everyone since early morning. That showed actually how the fear factor has been removed during the parliament election. And that is what actually rattled Pakistan. And I think giving in to that, that we should not hold election. There's no doubt there are security concerns in Jammu region. There's a spurt of terrorist attacks in Jammu region. But we had held elections in 96 and 2002. And if you see 35 years terror graph, I think the peak years were 2001 and 2002. The level of violence was the highest.
Right.
And even in that time, we could conduct election. I think everyone has welcomed, every political party.
Absolutely, and perhaps that is why Jammu and Kashmir, it needs a democratic setup, not just to address issues of militancy, but also equally burgeoning issues of unemployment, health crisis, and of course, electricity crisis as well. I'd like to thank all of you gentlemen for joining in on that discussion. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. Thank you so much for watching Brass Tacks.